It's time to enter the drone zone with me, James Drone, aka Pure Ambient Drone. So hit that subscribe button, tap that bell, and get ready to synth on.
Drones. It is I, Pure Ambient Drone,
The voice of synthesizers.
Yes, I know that I have been a little bit laid back lately, not really touching too much on anything on this channel. I got to tell you, I have been focusing on my music, and the synthesizers that I have now, I'm pretty happy with them, and there's nothing really out on the market that I foresee that kind of excites me. I know that there's a lot of stuff that's been happening, and some of it I just passed on. I didn't even touch on it on this channel. I'm going to explain a few things to you about how I feel about what's going on currently. But let me back up a little bit. When I first started this channel, there was this void in new synthesizers coming out. It was far in between. New gear was just kind of hard to come by, and nothing was really exciting. And then we had this explosion where all of these synth companies started making analog gear, digital gear, all these new synthesizers. And now I think we're in this phase where we're kind of repackaging things. It's like we're not getting anything really new. We're just kind of getting it repackaged. Now, that's aside from the cloning, okay? There's a lot of cloning going on, or replicas of people coming out with reissues of synthesizers. I mean, there's a lot of that going on too. So we're taking some of the old nostalgia stuff from 20, 30, 40 years ago, and we're reinventing it now and reissuing it. Yeah, there is a lot going on. I'm not trying to discredit any of that. There is a lot of things going on. But to me, there's not a lot of excitement going on. I know that people are buzzing about certain things right now, but honestly, if you were to go to the market right now, where it stands, you can buy a synthesizer, whether it be a plug-in or hardware. You can buy a synth that is going to meet your musical needs. I just don't see anything out there that is innovative, that where people are saying to themselves, well, wait a minute, I have to have this. I've got to have this because there's nothing else like it. But I have found something that is different, that is unique, that is innovative, that really, if you don't have it, you don't have it. And that's what I want to talk about today. It's called the Motor Synth MK2. Probably know, if you're into synthesizers, that there already was a motor synth, but this is the MK2. This is the Mark II. This is the upgraded, the polished version of the motor synth. Now, I have never owned one of these. I had thought about it. Okay, I was really reaching out to grab one of these at one time or another, but I kind of thought it just wasn't finished, and my hunch was right. And so now we have the motor synth MK2. And, you know, their bragging rights are the world's first electromechanical desktop synthesizer. Now, the motor synth is unique in many different ways. It looks different because it has those motorized gears that are spinning. It sounds unique. There's no other synth that has this character that I can think of. And I'm sure it operates uniquely. So this is something new. This is something innovative. This is something that we should be watching and perhaps even supporting if we really truly hope for the evolution of synthesizers to continue forward. Now, time will tell where this stands in the whole scheme of things when it comes to synthesizers. But right now, we have something that is totally different, in my opinion, okay, when it comes to synthesizers. This is different than just a straight analog synthesizer or a hybrid synth or a digital synth. This is a motor synth, meaning that the sounds are produced by motors, okay? Actual physical moving motors are creating the sound that comes out of this box. And I would absolutely love to be able to get my hands on one of these things. I do believe right now it is kind of pricey because it is one of the smaller companies that is bringing it to us. And you got to understand that the smaller the company, the harder it is for them to find the resources to bring the prices down because they can't always purchase in quantity. That's how it works in business. When you have a huge retail store and you can go to the manufacturer and say, look, I want 20,000 t-shirts to sell in my store. They're going to give you a discount based on the huge number that you purchase from them. However, if you're just a small mom and pop store and you say, I want 5 t-shirts, then you're not going to get that huge discount. Same thing goes for synth manufacturers. When you have a small company, they can't go out and say, I want 100,000 synth cases. I want 100,000 power supplies, or whatever the number may be. They just don't have the kind of sales to back up the purchasing power they need to buy these in large quantities. So someone like Roland, okay, for instance, can go in and say, look, I want 50,000 of this and 20,000 of those, and they'll get a discount. And so that's how it works. So these companies, these smaller companies, they're going to have to struggle against their purchasing power and the quantities that they can get sold out the door. And of course, it's a double-edged sword because when they can't manufacture these as inexpensively as they'd like, then they got to drive the price up to make it worth their while. I mean, come on, people love to do synthesizers as a hobby. I get it. But when you're working your fingers to the bone and you're really putting everything you have into one of these companies to produce a synth, you have to have some kind of a monetary reward in order to keep going. Okay, not just a reward, but to sustain yourself as well. Okay, but the Motor Synth MK2, it has 2 separate voices, and it has 3 types of optical wave shapes. They're sine, saw, and square. Now, this synthesizer has a lot going on for it. One of the things it has is an 8 electro-motor oscillator system. Well, that's a mouthful. With custom-built brushless DC motors. Now, this brushless thing going on is something new to the MK2. It helps keep the actual motor sounds to a minimum. There are some mechanical noises that can leak into, and I believe it was a problem or a slight problem with the first synth that we were getting some undesirable artifacts from the motors. And so this brushless approach helps with that. 2 fully independent motor voices with separate amp envelope, pitch envelope, and analog multi-mode filters. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of flexibility there in what you want to do in your sound design. Now, you have an additional 3rd digital voice, DCO, okay, so you got some digital stuff mixed in there, so you might call this a little bit of a hybrid, right? With full functionality. You have a powerful modulation section with assignable mod destinations, built-in performance interface with ARP sequencer and motion record engines, a MIDI and CV control, input signal processing, VOCODER gate, sidechaining, filtering. Now, aside from all of that, because you can find this in other synthesizers, right? Some of this stuff, not all of it, of course. The uniqueness of the sound that this thing generates, to me, it's worth a go around if you're looking for something different in your sound that others can't replicate or are unwilling to replicate or just don't choose to replicate. This can help you stand out in your tracks. This can bring something to your style of music. This can bring something to your sound that most other people probably won't pick up on. if that's important to you. And I do think that a unique sound, something that you've created all your own, is very important. And it's extremely hard to search out and find a unique sound. There are so many artists out there, so many musicians who are striving to get their own sound, to get their own unique approach to music, and that click that makes the listener know that that's that band, you know? I believe that unique synthesizers like the Motor Synth is going to be able to help musicians like myself achieve the sound that they're looking for. Now, of course, if everybody jumps onto the Motor Synth, you're probably going to miss the boat, right? But I still think that there's an opportunity here for a lot of us to be able to grab a synthesizer that is very unique to the market, very unique sounding, very unique operating, in terms of operation, I should say, and just something that is different, that gives us new explorations in sound. And I think that the Motor Synth does all of that. Now, they were kind enough to provide videos online for the Motor Synth, so I'm going to play some of those for you because I have yet to grab one of these. I do believe that they're running about, let me see, I'm clicking on it right now. Yes, it is $32.99 US dollars, so $3,300 for this synth. It is up there in price, but remember why these smaller companies, they can't really compete with the big name brands. Not that the big name brands don't, have high price synthesizers too, because they do. But this is a smaller type of a box that you would probably expect for its size to be anywhere between 500 and below. And it's just not doing that. It's up there in price. But yes, so we're looking at $3,300 US for the Motor Synth MKII, and you can check it out at GameChangerAudio.com. I am Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I talk about synthesizers. I've got a new track coming out. It's called I Miss You, and it will be under my James Drone name rather than my Pure Ambient Drone name. It is called I Miss You. So check that out and see what you think. It will be released anytime now. CD Baby has it in its queue to get it released out there on all the major online music stores. Your support, as always, is very, very much appreciated. I really do love hearing from all of you, and it warms my heart how many of you have purchased my music. I want to thank you for the support of this channel as well. Until next time, keep calm and synth on.
It's been a while, my friend.